Hey there! If you're looking for a fun and easy way to earn rewards, including cash and prizes, check out the link in the video description.
Joe Biden's cognitive decline has become readily apparent to dozens of high-ranking officials in recent months, a bombshell new report claims. More than 45 Republican and Democratic lawmakers and staffers offered insight on the subject, citing recent mistakes by the commander-in-chief they found concerning. Aired in the midst of an election year, the report paints a picture of a president considerably slower than days past, while the White House maintains the 81-year-old is still a top leader. The dozens who spoke to the Wall Street Journal disagreed, describing a president who today speaks so softly that some struggle to even understand what he's saying. Others pointed to the commander-in-chief's declining grasp of important policy details and increasing reliance on notes and impromptu offerings from aides. Several said Biden's demeanor varies by the day, as the White House reportedly went through great pains to keep tabs on what Democrats were saying. The report, titled Behind Closed Doors, Biden Shows Signs of Slipping, published Tuesday. "You couldn't be there and not feel uncomfortable," one anonymous source said of a meeting with Biden during critical negotiations over congressional funding for Ukraine aid back in January, where the president moved so slowly. It took him roughly 10 minutes to greet the nearly 24 top leaders summoned. The meeting did not start until the president was finished, several who attended told the paper, before describing the ensuing discussion meant to secure more congressional funding. At that point, Biden, the oldest ever U.S. president, began reading from his notes, making broad points about the need to give money to Ukraine. This struck several as odd, sources said, given the lawmakers there were more than familiar with the fact that funds were needed. Some said they also had trouble hearing him, as officials in Ukraine desperately beseeched the U.S. for munitions. Biden, moreover, deferred most of the talks to other lawmakers, several said, to the point where most of the conversation did not include him. When questions were posed straight to him, he would turn to staffers, they all said, describing just the first alarming sign they have seen this year. In another instance that month not mentioned by the Journal, Biden would go on to mix up the names of two of his Hispanic cabinet secretaries, sparking more speculation on his mental capabilities. Within weeks, he publicly forgot the names of Russian dissident Alexei Navalny's widow and a German chancellor who died in 2017, while also confusing the leaders of far-flung Egypt and Mexico. During a fundraiser in February, he claimed to have recently spoken to former French President François Mitterrand, despite Mitterrand dying in 1996. A few days later, in an instance mentioned by the Journal, Biden seemed to not understand one of his own policies during a conversation with Louisiana Republican Mike Johnson, several who spoke to the paper said. Johnson, the current Speaker of the House and a staunch Trump supporter, declined to be interviewed about the exchange, but multiple witnesses did. It surrounded more military assistance to Ukraine, with Biden reportedly asking what it would take to bring the matter to a House vote. The insiders, in turn, described how Johnson brought up a new administration energy policy that halts future permits for shipping liquefied natural gas to many countries, including in Europe, effectively forcing U.S. allies to import more fuel from energy-rich rivals like Russia. "Mr. President, you are helping Vladimir Putin," Johnson reportedly told the president at the time, one person said. Biden reportedly responding by claiming that was not true, erroneously stating policy was only a study, several others said. They detailed how Johnson seemed visibly horrified by the fact Biden appeared to have forgotten details of his own policy, especially at a time where the U.S. is involved with not one, but two conflicts at risk of reaching World War levels. Moreover, in recent months, Biden has also said he believes Xi Jinping, the president of China, is a dictator, an assertion that appeared to visibly perturb Secretary of State Antony Blinken, then fresh off a diplomacy trip to the country. That instance, like several others involving Biden this year, was not mentioned by the Journal, but others equally concerning if not more.